Welcome to On the Air with FDT-TV. Yes, we've had a rebrand, but it is the same sort of thing. It is myself, and I am always joined by...
I'm Mike.
And we are here at the moment to talk about everything football, especially Euro 2020. I think we should...
2021.
In 2021, yeah. So, I mean, we are slightly rebranded, a little bit of a logo change up for it, but say the same good quality throughout as we like to bring you, with some laughs as well, hopefully, along the way. First off, I think we need to speak about the elephant in the room. Christian Eriksen, we wish him well. Apparently he is up and joking about, but wants some answers as to why he had a cardiac arrest, which is sort of understandable.
Yep.
So, yeah. I was writing some notes before. Obviously, he had a cardiac arrest. He did, from what the team doctors say, he was gone, but they brought him back to say, first of all, I think just get well soon. Don't rush it back. Make sure everything's right for yourself and family. But yeah, we wish you well. We do wish you well. Second of all, the treatment that he got on the pitch, can't fault it. And I think not only the doctors that were there, medical staff, but the team actually that were dealing with it were really good. And the fact that they all decided to block the cameras from trying to get a view, which I think we all can agree was disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
The BBC have come out and said then it wasn't their images, but they ultimately have control of which ones they show. So I mean, there are certain Ofcom rules around it, and they should have cut away a lot sooner. I think it may have meant that the people in the studio had to talk about stuff, but there's never a shortage of football, is there? I know it's quite horrible,
No.
but that's not. No one needs to see that or be subjected to having the media trying to get images of them at their most vulnerable. So I do think that is very, very bad. I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's quite a solemn subject. But as we said, we wish you the best. Hopefully we can see you back on the pitch sooner rather than later.
Yep.
But on a more positive note, Phil Gascoigne.
His car. Mate, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. Firstly, I think it was a really nice salute to the legend that is Paul Gascoigne. I know he played for my bitter rival. Well, I suppose rivals for the pair of us, but undoubtedly one of the greatest midfielders there's ever graced the football pitch in an England shirt. Absolutely brilliant. Especially Euro 96, I think, was when he hit his heights. Personally, I would say, in terms of the nation's love for him, especially that belter against Scotland as well. And I think at that particular point, he was actually playing in Scotland when he scored against Scotland, which is even more funny. I think he captured the hearts in 1990 with his silly nutty boy challenge that got him his second yellow card, which meant had we made the final, he wouldn't have been able to play. So he was kind of gutted. But I mean, even though I think we got to the semi-finals in that one, there was a hero's welcome back for the team then. But yeah, Phil Foden. Sorry, bringing it back to current day, a bit of a sideways rant there. Phil Foden, absolute quality yesterday. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. Definitely one of the best players on the pitch.
Yep. I do think for this tournament, he should have to officially change his name by deed poll to Phil Gascoigne. I think that's only fair.
Of course.
I mean, we did see us dominate Croatia, I will say. First 5 minutes, I thought we looked very, very nervous. So, and luckily, it only lasted 5 minutes. But there was no sort of press of Croatia. When we did get the ball, everyone just sort of knocking it about, missing their passes, and when it did start, I thought, oh no, here we go. This is what it's going to be like. And then out of nowhere, he hits the post. 60 million people all jumped up at the same time as if they'd trod on a plug. You know that when you go, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, that was the point where we did start to take control. I think we were lucky in a sense that the referee decided to get hit by the ball when they were on a dangerous attack early on. So yeah, but the other one that we need to talk about. Most people say Harry Kane, he's the leader, he's the captain. I thought he was awful. But Calvin Phillips, what a performance that lad had. We did get sent a few messages in the group, one of them being, is it time to start calling Pirlo the Italian Phillips? And I think that is only right. But he dominated the game for us. He was playing under Bielsa, I think, has done him very well. The press on it, the fact that all the balls want to go forward and he wants to attack. But he also likes a challenge, doesn't he?
Yep.
So I think if he continues like that, then he will be sort of one of the nation's favourite players by the end of the tournament.
100%.
My biggest concern with it is that as soon as Henderson is like half fit, he's going to drop Calvin Phillips to Henderson, who will only play negative passes, pass backwards, sideways, and then go off injured.
And miss a penalty.
And not really care. Yeah. What did you...
Yeah,
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, what did you make of Harry Kane's performance? I thought it was very odd, the positions he was taking up.
Yes, for me, I think, I mean, fair play to Croatia. They did kind of mark him out of the game a little bit, and I think he had to drop deeper in order to try and get some touches on the ball. But I think there was a couple of chances that we had a counter-attacking opportunity, but because he was playing so deep, he was almost playing like the false number 9 position.
Yep.
And then you'd have the wingers kind of bombing past him. But for me, I didn't get it. I thought he was quite lazy at times. Got battled off the ball or pushed off the ball quite easily. I know he's played a lot of games this season, but he's the captain of the team. He's the striker of the team. And like I mentioned on the group chat yesterday, it's someone had mentioned that he's not seen Harry Kane on the pitch yet. And I said, "Oh no, you need to look in front of our back four because that's the kind of where he's taking his position up at the moment." And it was immensely frustrating. Personally, I think the substitution should have come earlier for Harry Kane and get Calvert-Lewin some more minutes on the pitch. Because he did, I think, for the 5 minutes that he was on, he looked a lot more hungry than Harry Kane did. So, I mean, I'll be interested to see if he does.
Who's that, Rashford? Sorry, you said Phillips.
Calvert-Lewin.
Calvert-Lewin. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said Calvin Phillips. I was very confused.
No. I do. Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I do think you're right. He come on, didn't he? In added time. He replaced Sterling with 3 minutes to play, and you think actually we could have done with him at 45. Half-time sub. The player who did come on directly for Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, broke a 29-year-old record. Was the youngest player to ever play at a Euro final. At 17 years old and 349 days. So he's not the youngest player to play for the England senior team. He's the third youngest after Walcott and Rooney, but the youngest ever to play at a finals. And he come on and he looked sharp. He put in some good tackles, and I think his pace was just far too much for Modric, who at that point was looking a bit leggy in the heat, having played 80 minutes. I think he did really well.
Yeah, 100%.
The other one that I did want to bring up with you, the Foden yellow card. What did you make of that? He trod on the player and got a yellow for it, and it seemed a little bit light considering some of the tackles that had gone in from both teams. I mean, the note that I've got here is that maybe it was because he had no intent to play the ball already played, and then he still stamped on him. But even then, I don't think there was any malice in it because he wasn't looking at the player. He was just looking at the ball to turn. But what's your
Yeah,
take on that?
to be honest, I was quite shocked by that decision to give the yellow card, as you said, because there seemed to be a lot more. Um, I would say there were more cynical fouls and also a lot more aggressive fouls that had happened during the game, which seemed to have got off quite lightly. And there's one thing I'm actually noticing a lot in the officiating in the games as it stands at the moment. There have been some awful decisions and also some light decisions where you look at it, and if you were watching the Premier League, some of the free kicks they would have, some of those tackles would have been free kicks. VAR, say you stamped on his like little toe or whatever, and
Yeah,
got a red card for it. But it's nice to actually see, I suppose, in some games that referees are not taking any nonsense for some of the lighter challenges. And I mean, to be fair, it might have been kind of like an accumulation yellow card as well, I would say.
yeah,
Not that I think he'd done a lot wrong, but that I think he did get pulled up for a couple of tackles, so it may have been an accumulation. But I think at that point in the particular game, a lot of the decisions had, but the officials, I think, had a pretty good game.
yeah.
But like I said, if you were to take out that environment and put it in the Premier League, I think it would have been a different story.
Yeah, I make you right. I do make you right. And flitting back a little bit to Harry Kane, how did he miss that open goal? For a man who we've been raving about the last few weeks about how when he goes to a bigger club, they're going to be unstoppable, and that he scored a silly amount of goals with a club that's finished sort of mid-table. How's he missed that one then?
For me, I think that was a good press from the defender. It was unlucky, and I think 9 times out of 10 this season that's going in. But I think with the combination of possibly the heat, the occasion, also just a lot of things, it just wasn't meant to be. Like you said, he was having a bit of a poor game anyway. But yeah, that was, I'd say 9 times out of 10 that would have been in, but just wasn't meant to be yesterday at all.
Fair enough. And for your overall man of the match, who have you gone with?
For me, I went for Raheem Sterling in that particular game.
Very good.
I thought he was getting the ball around, making a nuisance of himself. Obviously, scored the goal. It only just pipped Calvin Phillips, I think, for me for man of the match, because obviously one got the assist, one got the goal, but I think overall, for me, Sterling pipped it. I'm assuming you went for Phillips.
I did go for Phillips. I mean, I think Sterling is a valid, a completely valid shout. He held up the ball well. He got control of it. There were points where he were putting balls in the box, but there was no one there to receive it. Sort of as you alluded to earlier, with Harry Kane playing so deeply, and sort of there's for someone who's out of form, I think he picked up quite well. So hopefully we can see a little bit more clinicalness from maybe him having a go at goal over the next few games in the tournament. But yeah, I went for Calvin Phillips. I thought it was a very complete performance, defensively sound, wanting to attack, and obviously with the assist as well. So today we saw the other two teams in the group play. Scotland took on the Czech Republic, and got absolutely battered. They did look dangerous on occasion, but they played very, very narrow, and conceded. The first goal I thought was a good header and a good cross from a West Ham man, and Mr. Soufal. I will add, helping us bring down the Scots from the inside out. So that was a good one, and then the second one, which was an assist from Thomas Souček, another West Ham man, but with an absolutely audacious attempt. Bloke seen the keeper off the line and just curled it in, and it did have a lot of curl on it. But what was the keeper doing?
I have no idea. Do you know what? I was watching that, and because it was at one of those funny angles, I wasn't sure if it was kind of like a looping cross to someone out on the other wing, and then you're like, oh, that's going in, that's going in. Oh my god, what happened? And there was a point I thought the goalkeeper was going to get to it, but you could see him just kind of watching it, and it was just like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, egg on your face. But I mean, just looking at the shot I think was just on, literally just into Scotland's half, just outside the semicircle. And when you see it from the goal angle and you see the amount of bend he had, it was like it was almost going out for a corner and then curling back in. Phenomenal. But you're right, the keeper was definitely at fault on that particular goal.
And so, I mean, as you alluded to earlier in some of your messages to us, Scotland did look there were parts where they looked dangerous. They just couldn't finish. They did look like they were lacking a striker, which is good for us, I suppose. But with the fact that they did play so narrowly and let the Czech Republic bomb down either wing, do you think that's a good sign for us, or do you think they will set up totally differently, given that it's now a must-win game for them?
Sorry, for Scotland.
For Scotland, yeah. If
I
they
suppose it also,
if they lose to us, they're pretty much out.
Yeah.
So
unless they end up winning against Croatia, which I personally I can't see happening. So their goal difference is going to be vital. But yeah, for me, I think, to be honest, I think one of the things that Scotland were missing was Kieran Tierney. He had or picked up an injury before the start of the game today, which is frustrating for me as an Arsenal fan, but I can imagine also frustrating for the Scottish team, because apparently he's been instrumental in Scotland getting to the finals, and apparently him and Andy Robertson have built up quite a good partnership in the defence. Where Scotland looked more threatening was coming in down at the left-hand side with Andy Robertson.
Yep.
And to be fair, they did have a couple of chances where they could, or where they should have done better with the end product.
Yeah, they had a couple of sitters, didn't they?
Yeah. Which either they hit straight at the keeper or just over the bar. So I personally, I think they're going to have to definitely come up with some sort of new tactic, or they are going to have to reshuffle their tactics for us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can see something very similar happening to us, where we have a bit of a brain fart. And do you remember what I said on the group? We'll dominate the game and we'll end up losing by the ball hitting the post and going in off Pickford or something like that. So I can see that happening. I'll be very surprised if we keep a clean sheet against Scotland, just because I think they're obviously going to be really fired up for this particular game. And I think on the most part, we did have a fair few chances, wasn't clinical with any of them, but wasn't really getting out of second or third gear for us, I think. And I can see us coasting through this game as well, getting caught on the back foot, and then having to go into the next gear. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think the team need to not rest on their laurels, because I think us having beaten Croatia, I know it was 1-0, but it was fairly convincingly. And looking at how poor Scotland were against the Czech Republic, I think there is a danger that a lot of fans and the team will go, this is going to be an easy game. We're going to walk this. And generally, they're the ones where there's a problem afterwards, because you do concede that silly goal. But would you stick with the same starting lineup, or do you make a change?
I've been Harry Kane off.
Okay.
I would. For me, he looked knackered. He's played a lot of, as I said earlier, he's played a lot of games this season. Personally, I would rest him for this particular game, and then if things aren't going well, then bring him on in the second half, because I think he'll definitely be able to make an impact after being rested for a little bit.
Yeah.
But for me, I would stick someone else up top, so possibly a Calvert-Lewin. I think on the most part, I was pretty happy with the team. It was weird seeing Kieran Trippier in at left back, considering we do have options at left back, but I thought he played really well there.
Yeah, I don't think he was tested at all, really, though.
No.
I think that's a positive, but I do think it's a very confusing, considering we've got Luke Shaw there and Ben Chilwell, and we decided to play a right back. I didn't like his free kick. I thought that was absolute. I won't say the word. It was straight at a Croatia player. I think he had the headlines of 3 years ago in the back of his mind. I thought, oh, this is going to be another banger, easy peasy. I don't know. I mean, I do agree. I think Calvert-Lewin is much more likely to press defenders than Harry Kane, and with Grant Hanley, who's been with Norwich, he's getting on a bit. He's not the best on the ball. Bit of a what you'd possibly call as a no-nonsense defender for Scotland, but his ball control isn't great. He's not one of these ball-playing defenders. Mm-hmm. Calvert-Lewin's chasing him down at a sprint. He's more likely to win the ball back. The one that is strange is a lot of people were calling for Jack Grealish to start instead of Raheem Sterling, but actually the performance that Sterling put in, it's a bit hard to drop him at this point. I think he scored a goal. He did play quite well. I do think at this point maybe 60 minutes comes, 50, 60 minutes comes, you take him off and rest him and put Grealish on, especially in the heat. That's got to have some sort of effect. But I don't know how you can drop him for Grealish at this point, especially because he's our top goal scorer in the tournament. Come on, England! I see now. I said a little while ago I wasn't positive about it, but I am now. I'm getting a bit more positive. I'm trying to get in the spirit of it. But I don't want to get too carried away. Let's get past the Scotland game, and then we'll go from there. I do think if I said about Harry Kane scoring, doing the Shearer celebration against Scotland for the 1-0, and then if Foden score, he's got to do the dentist chair, hasn't he? He's got to. This recreating, I mean, don't want to recreate it too much, but recreating history of that celebration with a haircut, I think it's got to be done at some point. Right, on to a little section that we've come up with this week. Well, actually, you come up with this week. Favourite England football shirts. We've had many over the years. Some bring back really good memories. Some bring back really bad memories. Much with home and away kits for your actual club team. But national team, when we're all under one banner, what's your pick?
So as I'm sure a lot of people know, I do love a football shirt. I have every Arsenal football shirt from 1985 up until present day, home and away, with the exception, I think, of one, which is rarer than rocking horse shit and very expensive. So I can't justify spending over 300 quid for a shirt. However, I do also have a fair few England shirts. As you can see at the moment, I am wearing one. This isn't my favourite one. However, obviously being an English show, I also have another selection here. This doesn't include my away shirts, which I have also in the cupboard. I am currently waiting for my favourite shirt to turn up, but my favourite overall shirt is the 2005 to 2007 home shirt. For me, there is no competition. I think for this particular shirt, it was kind of like a hybrid period between the old baggy shirts and going into the new tighter fitting, just a smarter look, kind of the more modern day one. So this is the white England shirt with the red cross.
Yeah. For those of you who are listening audio wise, if you go over to our YouTube channel, FDT-TV, where you'll see the Gold Cup, it's actually on screen now.
So this is my favourite shirt for a lot of reasons. There was quite a few players within that England squad which I thought were fantastic. Peter Crouch was one of them. I absolutely love Peter Crouch. I thought it was one of the most underrated England strikers. Very gangly, but did make a nuisance of himself. It was kind of the golden generation. I think it was labelled at that particular point. Also brings back a lot of memories of my first and second lads' holiday. We did go out in 2005 to Zante, wearing our England shirts, and yeah, it was just an incredible week away. Wish it was longer, but yeah. So that shirt is very, very special to me. For number 2, I have gone for the World Cup '98 shirt, which you will be able to see behind me, and I'm not sure if it's going up on screen.
It won't.
Possibly.
No, I haven't got it on screen because it's
okay.
It's already there with on your camera.
Cool. So this is the score draw reproduction one I saw. It's missing the umbrella in the middle. The '96 shirt I thought was absolutely stunning as a shirt, but for me, the only way that they've improved on that particular shirt was the stripes up the side, and the current shirt I think is an homage to that shirt. Just it's iconic. Alan Shearer, Ian Wright. The list of players is absolutely outstanding. For me, that was my first tournament, as I mentioned last week, was the '96 that I really remember. And then obviously a couple of years older, was well into my football then and just wanting to own that shirt. Yeah, just a great shirt. Brings back a lot of memories. And finally, the 2007 to 2009 shirt. Again, a very special meaning for this shirt. This was the shirt, or the year I met my now wife, 2009. I remember sitting watching an England game in the square of a place where we used to live, and just remember this person standing in front of her, tapping him on the shoulder, going, "I don't think so." And he was like, "Oh, sorry, love." But this was the game where England played Germany in, I think it was the 2010. No, can't have been 2008 World Cup or Euros.
That would have been a Euros.
Yes. So where Frank Lampard, I think we lost 4-2 to Germany. Frank Lampard's goal was ruled out where it clearly crossed the line.
That one was the 2010 World Cup.
Ah, must have been that one. Yeah. So, yeah.
I was going to say, my favourite one, it's quite a nice way to segue in, because I was going to lead with that Frank Lampard goal that wasn't a goal against Germany in the World Cup. For me, it's the 2009-2010. It's up on screen now. That kit for me is my favourite. And there's a few reasons why. I remember seeing Carlton Cole wear it when he made his 6 England appearances from the bench. He was having a blinder of a season at West Ham. And also Umbro, who were the kit people at the time, did a Speciale boot with it. And they made one as well, which came in a case that they made 283 pairs of. They had the England crest on the bottom of it. And it was one of those you go, oh, I could buy one of them, but I couldn't because I was still at school at the time. But yeah, for me, I just think it was brilliant. When it first came out, I remember going to. I loved the shirt previous to this. And when we went up to Wembley to watch an England-Croatia game, actually, I've got an interesting story about that. They was advertising it because it was a new shirt coming out, and the pictures of it and all the promo I thought was horrendous. I think they actually unveiled it in France at an event in France to a chorus of boos, which is sort of understandable. But yeah, I grew to love it, and I think that with the boots that went with it, which John Terry Wu wore throughout that tournament, I just think they're absolutely pucker. So for me, that's my favourite England shirt. But story about Croatia. Went up, English shirt on with my old man. and we walk into Trafalgar Square, middle of the day on a Saturday, to be only met by 10,000 Croats who were all in football shirts and see us and pretty much just turn. You know, like in the films, in Inception, where everyone starts looking at her where she's building stuff. They all went and then just started chanting at us. So we gave it a bit of an England, and then just sort of scuttled away. But everyone that we met, actually, who was a Croatia fan, a couple of us did come and talk to us, because it was one of those, you walk around the corner and go, oh, fuck. This is going to go one of two ways. But actually, everyone that we met was really good fun, and say quite happy to have a little bit of banter. There was also a streaker on the pitch in that game. So yeah,
wasn't you, was it?
It wasn't. No. At the time, mate, it was probably my physical prime, but it was not the time for doing that. I was still a schoolboy. So
okay.
When you were saying about in 2005, you were going on a lads' holiday to Zante. I mean, leave in the comments what you were doing in 2005. I was going to school. Like, literally, I had been in senior school for a year. That's what I was doing in 2005.
That's depressing. Yeah, that's very depressing. Yeah, man, 2005, 2006.
And it seems like it was such a long time ago, but it wasn't really. It really wasn't. No. It was only 14 years ago. But predictions. I want a scoreline prediction. We're not getting any points for this. It can't go towards a cup. I'm just interested to hear your thoughts on what you think is going to be the England-Scotland scoreline.
3-1
to England. I'm going to go for a very cheeky 5-1. I think we will either concede really early or we'll go well ahead and then concede a silly goal right at the last gasp. Let us know what your predictions for the England-Scotland game are below. But I've got nothing else to add this week, Mike.
No, me neither.
So, until next week, enjoy the Euros. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on YouTube. And we will see you next week.
Thanks very much.